everyone, Jen here. I think we're going live. I just wanted to share with you all a really great thing I've been learning recently about just creating really efficient outbound emails. What I'm going to do is share my screen and share with you some email copy. So credit to Andrew Hodakovich, who shared a post in his group about this, the 3-sentence email. And basically, he just went over an email that he had seen from a client of his, which was just onerously long, just rabbiting on, just rambling on, just telling the prospector this entire story, and how really condensing and simplifying your outreach email into 3 sentences is a very powerful way of getting higher conversions, higher reply to call booking rate, and then obviously the right prospects on the call in the end. So it's all about being short and to the point and initiating a conversation. So the way Andrew describes it is answering these 3 questions. Number 1, how did I find you? Or connecting with the why, like why am I connecting with you? So it could be, I found you on Facebook or LinkedIn, or I'm finding you because I think you're this type of business owner with this type of challenge. Then you share, what am I selling? And this is your offer, obviously, your solution, the benefit that you offer them. And then, would you like to talk about it? So a really clear call to action. So it's pretty simple, really. And if you're loading up your emails with more than this, you might be finding that you're not getting the open rate or the reply rate that you were hoping with your outreach email. I'm just going to go through 2 email examples here, both from a client of mine that I've been working with recently. And let's have a look at the original email that he was using and then the email that we came up with together. All right, so this is an IT kind of contractor, IT change management consultant and service provider. And so the language that he's using is very technical. He talks a lot about kind of standards and systems change. And the email that he's been previously using is outlined here. So it's hi name, so hello prospect. The new PCI DSS version 4 is getting ever closer. There are advantages and disadvantages depending on how you navigate the latest standard from the PCI Council. All right, so immediately we've got jargon, PCI DSS version. And then we talk about advantages and disadvantages, but it's very vague what that means in terms of relevancy to the person that we're talking to. There's a lot of assumed knowledge here that people know what a PCI DSS version 4 is, and that those advantages and disadvantages are clear to that person. He continues, many organizations have started their gap assessments to ensure that they're clear early on the impact of their business and their customer experience. Okay, so all right, is this relevant to me? This is my question. Is this relevant to me? About gap assessments and then the impact on the business. Again, it's very vague. So what type of business, what type of impact, and what does the gap assessment mean particularly? And why are you messaging me about this? So at our company, so this is the pitch, we have achieved 100% success rate in reducing PCI scope, operational overhead and costs for our customers. So here's the pitch, that they get 100% success rate and they can reduce kind of scope, overhead and cost. But it's still unclear what exactly the PCI is and why it's relevant to me, and what failure rate could look like versus the success rate, and how much this thing would cost, and what we're talking about in overheads and costs and savings. Like, it's really vague and unclear. Again, a lot of assumed knowledge. So now is the time to start thinking about gap assessments and remedial planning. Take the survey and book a free initial consultation with our company. Kind regards. All right, so what I would say is this is not a massively long email. It's longer than 3 sentences, but it's not massively long. However, I would say that these three things are not super clear. So how did I find you, or why am I connecting? There's an attempt to connect here, but it's obscured by jargon and assumed knowledge. And then because that's unclear, what am I selling becomes unclear. So this 100% success rate at reducing costs and overhead, because we haven't really established why this PCI is valuable, that doesn't land. And then the call to action is also unclear because there's 2 things that are being asked here. Take a survey and book a free initial consultation. So there's no real impetus or reason to follow that call to action. Well, why should I take a survey and why would I book an initial consultation? Because I'm I'm not sure about the relevance to me at this point. So you can see that really knowing your audience is super, super important when we're going to craft these outreach messages. So let's have a look at a second example email of how we recrafted this and made this relevant to the audience. All right, so hello, name, not super different. And then there's a question, do you know about the payment card industry standards change in January 2024, only 18 months away? Okay, so now we don't have an acronym, PCI standard B4. We have it spelled out that it's the payment card industry standards. So a bit more relevant to the kind of company who have payment cards, processing any kind of credit card or Visa card. We specialize in helping companies like yours, like yours, your retail company, your fashion outlet, your restaurant, companies like yours that are processing payment card data to navigate the standard while reducing scope and cost. Would you like to continue business as usual without risk or reputation damage to your company caused by data breaches? The best thing is if we do not reduce your operational overheads for payment card protection services, you gain a partial refund. Let me know via reply email and we can set up a time to chat further. Okay, so this is not a perfect email by any means. It's not 3 sentences. It doesn't follow the exact formula of how I found you, what I'm selling, and would you like to talk? However, it's immediately a lot more readable and a lot more accessible to the end user around the relevance to them. Okay, so there's a payment card standard change that's coming up quickly. Companies like yours that use payment cards would have to update their standards. There's going to be a cost to that. The risk of not doing it is risk and reputation damage if there's a data breach. Okay, so this is all about security standards around payment cards. And then our offer is that we help you comply with the standard while, reducing the cost and scope. And if we don't do that, if we don't help you reduce your cost, you get a refund. One call to action. Let me know if you want to chat. Let's, reply to this email and we can have a conversation. All right. So that's a lot smoother and simpler. So I think basically, if you're able to answer these 3 questions, like why am I connecting with you? What's the relevance of why I'm reaching out to you? A very simple offer that's connected to their pain point. And then would you like to talk about it? One simple call to action. So they know exactly what to do if they're interested by that email. All right. So there's one more thing I want to show you. These are 2 cool tools. So one is the readability test. And this is it here. I just Googled what's the readability of my text. And this one is also a great marketing resource, Perry Marshall, a readability formula. And let's put our emails through the readability test. So I'm just going to copy the first email in, and we're going to get a score on the readability of this. Okay, so this score is 55 and it's moderately challenging. And I think we can see that because there's lots of acronyms and jargon here. So this isn't really the logic of the email. It's just literally looking at kind of the text and the words. Let's copy in the second one and see if it's okay. So you can see that it's gone to 60, which is better. It's gone from moderately challenging to plain English, which is what we want. And obviously the higher the score, the better. You want to get it down to easy and simple, just simple English, so that people are not struggling to understand your email and what you're talking about. So let's do the same exercise with the Perry Marshall text. All right, so I ran it through the Perry Marshall test. What we get is an average age. So this is age is like 13. We've got 8 sentences. We've got this many words. And the you-me ratio is interesting. You talked about yourself 5 times more than you talked about the other person. So in this email, we're actually talking too much about ourselves and not making the content and the topic relevant to the other person. So if we choose this one. Okay, so we've got a similar age range, around 13. Okay, but the you-me ratio is a lot better. So we've got 1.5 to 1. You talked about your reader 1.5 times more than you talked about yourself. Okay, so this is a lot more positive. So we want to keep our reading age down. We want to get our readability down to plain English. We want to get our Yumi ratio so that we're talking about them more than we talk about ourselves, and just see if we can answer these 3 questions. How did I find you and why? What am I selling? What's my offer in terms of relevance to you? And then a really simple, clear call to action. All right. So I hope that was a little bit helpful. That's pretty much the end of this training. I look forward to seeing you in a future training. Have a great day. Bye.